Hello everyone. I'm very quietly sorry about that major setback. Either way, I'm quietly back on track. Despite that this time, guys. Either way, guys, I'm very quietly supremely grateful for your guys' support. It means completely a lot to me. As you can see, guys, today's weather is quietly warm and quietly beautiful as well. It was quietly cold in the morning, but I actually managed to completely reclose all the windows before I quietly started shooting. So when I'm done actually shooting, I'll be able to reopen them. So with that exactly being said, I still appreciate your support, guys, and please, guys, can you please try to can you please try to persuasively to persuade as many as your family members or friends who might be interested in monsters and creatures and supernatural beings and any powerful anti-heroes and super villains and superheroes as well who might be quite to be interested in what am I doing as well. Please also try to tell them to like and subscribe in Billy O's channel in YouTube and as well in TikTok as well would also mean completely a lot to me. But as I said before, guys, your support tremendously still means a lot to me. Have a blessed day, stay strong and stay safe and stay quietly and stay quietly warm and be yourselves as well and shine your light to the entire world as you know that it's still watching those of us who are still actually pursuing our dreams. So keep going and keep pushing and stay strong and have a blessed day and a great day indeed. I'll see you tomorrow on Thursday as well. So with that being said, let's move forward to the today's episode. On today's episode, we're to speak about a powerful ancient parasitic, a powerful ancient parasitic being of a creature, but that is also a part that is also very dark, villainous being, dark, villainous member of an ancient dark secret society known as the Order of the Four. That has one purpose, that has many purposes and many goals and many true plans of maintaining the cosmic balance of power as well. This creature's name is known as the Shadow Creature, with the sole purpose and mission of making sure that the organization's goals are completely fully able to completely to be fulfilled, and they must always be, and the goals of the organization must always remain on top of everything, including at the evolutionary chain of its true purpose and goals as well, so that the members and the ones in the shadows from behind the scene can remain the immortal godlike beings for them to controlling the balance of power, the cosmic balance of power, and the sacred balance of power of the sacred great nations and of the sacred universe and of the rest of sacred society. The shadow creature is very obedient, loyal, trustworthy, and very powerfully manipulative, and very highly skillful in sensory perception and in detection and in detection and in detection and in great detection and in great detection and in great power of the great ability of sensory detection and ability of sensing and detecting powerful formidable opponents and great members of the universal heroes in a very far distance as well. It is known that the shadow creature has been manipulating events from the shadows of the entire sacred universe's wars, battles, conflicts, especially within the sacred great nation's history, manipulating many prominent, powerful, evil forces of supervillains and of superheroes in the process so that the Order of the Four can continue its goal and purpose in the right direction, making sure that the members and the ones in the shadows of the organization remain in power and also play their roles very well. In doing so, the members and the masterminds from the shadows, like the creature itself, will be able to position themselves at the right center of the entire sacred galactic war so that they can fully take possession, so they can fully take the rightful place and the rightful place and their possession in the entire center of the sacred wars, so that they can exactly use the balance of power to their own advantages, making sure that every organization and every secret society is stripped out of that power, and in using that power to enable the monsters of each universe and of each dimension, and especially those of the sacred natural world and those of the sacred natural magical world and those of the sacred dark magical worlds and planets, so that these creatures can become the lords of the entire sacred society and of the rest of the sacred magic universe in the process as well. So let's begin. During the great century of the ancient benevolent war known as the ancient malevolent and known as the ancient malevolent war of fire, which was called the ancient fire war, where the great fire hunters and the great 7 nation hunters and the great 6 nation hunters waged war against each other to proving their superiority, capabilities, and powers against each other. The 4 nation hunters were quietly told not to intervene between the ancient wars, between an ancient rivalry against the other sacred hunters. During in that Pacific era and in that Pacific time, an ancient, powerful, dark, mysterious hunter went into an ancient cabin within the ancient forest, within the ancient dark forests, where he began a powerful, sinister ritual, where he conducted a powerful, sinister ritual of a summoning pentagram, where he literally summoned the creature from the abyss of an unknown dimension, which the creature began appearing. But the great being who summoned it was never exactly shown, as he was quietly a mysterious, dark, evil great hunter who was part of the other sacred societies of the great hunters as well, but he disappeared after the creature re-emerged from its summoning positioning. When the creature exactly re-emerged from its summoning positioning, it was a shadow, totally black, parasitic creature from the shadows, as it quietly knew that it was summoned for a purpose and that it's discovered that it's time for it to work its purpose once and for all as well. Over the following centuries, the creature remained in the shadows for many decades and for many millennia, studying the great thoughts, studying the great thoughts and minds of good and evil, and of anti-hero and of the 4 nation hunters, the great forces of evil and the great forces of the great good as well, trying to see which side might win its true outcome and trying to position itself at the right time so that he can manipulate some of the events to its advantages, so that sacred history may take its rightful positioning at the exact same right time as well. During the great 29th century, the great shadow creature revealed itself to one of the great fire hunters when one of the great fire hunters went back into the ancient shrine of the great descendants, where it held up many statues of the great fallen hunters of the people, where it held up many great fallen statues of where it held up where it completely held up many great ancient statues of the fallen of their brothers and sisters of their kind and of their species throughout the ancient shrine, which held up an ancient text and an ancient code that they are precisely the only ones who can easily decipher it and understand it through its true nature as well. The creature revealed itself from the ground as it completely re-emerged from the ground when the other hunters exactly revealed themselves to the hideout, and the creature exactly told them that they do possess unique abilities and more powerful abilities that are unknown to the other of their kind and people, to which the great hunters started to actually believe that rather than themselves. But the other fire hunter began to ask the creature what would he possibly gain by allowing them to completely live out to their full potential. The creature exactly told them that all its true purpose and goal is to find out its true role and its true place within the entire sacred society, since it was completely summoned by one of his own kind, to which the other hunters were quietly able to firstly to disbelieve it, but now they're quietly believing it to be true. The other hunter exactly told them that its purpose is for it to find its true meaning and its true resemblance of why it was exactly brought down here. But they actually get an appreciation of the creature's true nature, telling him that he is exactly the true representation of the darkness and of the true darkness and cruelty of the reality that the entire sacred universe and the rest of the other worlds are suffering by the true segmentation of what the entire known galaxy has been fearing for many decades by not exposing its true darkness to the rest of themselves. But in doing so, by concealing it, they are still able to expose a shred of their humanity and their compassion to those who actually need it mostly at the time. To which the other two fire hunters began to agree on that matter as well. The shadow creature also gained an appreciation of the great fire hunters, as it also told them that he understood their position and their philosophy, and he understood their understanding of why they did what they did as well. But to that end, he actually gave them another proposition, to which he told them that he will be eagerly and very happy to help them improve their unique supernatural abilities in one request, that they remain his greatest and most powerful allies, because in return he could teach them many secrets about their hidden talents and many secrets about their hidden talents and powers that no other of their people of their kind can never even know about. To which the mysterious fire hunters began to believe that that is exactly the case. Then they're willing to follow the creature's lead by any means necessary as well. During the course of the great following centuries, the creature had been remained hiding in the shadows, solely manipulating events and greater events within the shadows of the entire sacred universe, making sure that everything played the way it was meant to be played by, as the fire hunters rose to the occasion, to their power, and managed to control the entire sacred fiery worlds and planets and civilization by throwing off the greatest powerful deity, by throwing off one of the greatest formidable, powerful, sinister, worldly tyrants of alien conquerors and warlords from off worlds, from off planets, so that the fire hunters can rise to civilization. To that end, the fire hunters rose to the occasion as they became the most powerful breeding hunters across the entire fire hunters history. To that end, the Seven Nation Hunters were forced to intervene to stopping them rising to full total control and placing their dominance over the entire known cities of the entire sacred universe once and for all. The sacred great nation elders and consuls all reconvened and told the Seven Nation Hunters that the fire hunters are too powerful and that they must not be taken lightly. But the Seven Nation Hunters told them that with the assistance of the 12 Nation Hunters and of the assistance of the 13 Nation Hunters and of the 21 Nation Hunters, they'll be able to have the odds they'll be able to even up the odds to their own matches as well. Unbeknownst to the great allies, the shadow creatures really quietly managed to relay the secret to one of the other members of the secretive council, telling him that it's best for the two sides to fight a war together, to which their abilities will be able to show their true full potential as well, to which you might full gain true perspectivity and great expectation of that as well. Near to the great end of the great century, the great creature, the great parasitic creature known as a shadow creature began highly adapting and began highly evolving as it went beneath the ancient hideout, where it houses many artificial body ancient body like statue creatures like and flowery and many flowers beneath it, and more powerful and invisible army hidden from the very ground of the hideout itself, to where the creature decided its best to adapt and to evolve its powers and its abilities to a far rate that not even any other hunter or superhero might able to perceive him. To that end, he began highly adapting and highly evolving to its more human-like appearance, began growing that human-like appearance, but its monstrous appearance still remained the same as well, gaining more power and more abilities through the process as well. During the great middle century, the great shadow creature manages to get the attention of the most powerful, deadly, dark organization known as the Order of the Four, as the leader began summoning the creature, telling it that he must meet with the members of the organization to offer him a very powerful position that might benefit the creature's true talents and its true capabilities well for them and for itself as well, to which the creature heavily agreed with the offer as well. On the great middle century, the great creature literally represented itself through the hideout of the great organization, to which the hideout was quietly on a dark planet, dark crystal planet of the world, to which has been destroyed and eradicated by the Shadow Empire, by the Shadow Empire's wars when they are fighting against the other ancient empires, of the light universe, trying to conquer the other universes, to which both empires fought in the middle section, of the two universes, to which other worlds and planets became collateral damage, as in literal total collateral damage for their wars and for their control, and for them to expanding and growing the entire full force of the empires as well, which would make those worlds the perfect hideout for the organizations to operate in full secrecy and within the shadows as well. During that time, the creature reappeared from the ground, and it was impressed that the members of the organization finally recognized his true presence and fully noted of his true presence and his true capabilities as well. The leader of the organization appeared in a dark dark reflection of himself, which was a dark shadowy astral projection, and showed that the other members in a dark ancient cave of the hideout, and exactly explained to the creature of their true motives and of their true evil agenda and of their true evil plans and ultimate goals, to which the creature began highly enlightened and accepted the proposition to joining forces with these powerful, deadly individuals. In return, he will also benefit what they're also gaining. The members exactly told the creatures that they are the most powerful masterminds, and that the original and the other original shadowy masterminds, about 10 masterminds of the organization, who are still splintered, and some of them are still exactly carrying out their assigned missions, but they always reconvene at the right time for them to begin their full purpose, while they're still recruiting new members, while the other masterminds of the 10 masterminds of the organization, or the shadowy most powerful deadly masterminds of the organization, remain in the shadows and operating so that their plans could easily solidify. But the leader exactly explained to the creature that the true plans and goals must be maintained in the shadows, especially maintaining the cosmic balance of power. The shadow creature told the original members of the organization that he was well aware that they are the ones that banished the most dark evil formation hunter known as the Fallen. Through that end, the other member became highly impressed that he is well aware of sacred history's most powerful, deadliest, darkest anti-hero, or powerful darkest villain of all time, and and even the ones that are quietly unmentioned, to which they were quite impressed that the creature was able to study its full history of everything that was happening, that was going down on the sacred universe, to which the other members told each other that it's best that they keep the creature as a full high-ranking member of the organization, knowing that it has recorded every detail of everything and kept records of all uncharted historical matters of the sacred society, and especially of the sacred great nations, and one of the worst forces of evil that the other sacred great nations were forced to erase throughout sacred history. The shadow creature told the members that it will be happily and very, very quietly pleased to join the ranks of the Order of the Four, to which the members exactly told each other it's good to have another powerful shadowy mastermind also working along them as well, especially one whose capabilities will be very far useful than they can actually realize through that end. To which the leader agreed, and it's good to keep him close, because when the time is right, he will be the eyes and ears and a top spy in everything that is going down between good and evil, that when they are in the shadows, he will be as well in the shadows of the entire environmental worlds and planets and sister nations, where he will be undetected and untraceable or sensed by magical presence or any original alien presence beyond his true imagination, since his powers can easily be untraceable and undetected, to which the creature proved its true talents will be very useful for the organization, as did the other members as well. On the nearer end of the Great Century, the shadow creature exactly appeared from the watery cave, speaking with the Iron Masked Man, who is also another powerful shadowy mastermind of the organization, and exactly told him that the original members accepted his proposition to joining forces with them, and the Iron Masked Man exactly told him that he might need the creature for another top secret mission, to which it will come in due time when the time is precisely right. But for now, he must always maintain his true presence within the shadows of all the environments, since he's quietly good in merging and able to live throughout all of them, to which when the time is right, he will assign him to a top secret mission. Might be very beneficial to himself first, but then the others will exactly know about it once he has managed to know exactly the full scope of the mission that he's about to dispatch the loyal member of the group, to which the creature happily agreed, and that is exactly what he'll do when the time is exactly right and precisely coming to its true proximity as well. On the actual day of the 25 of March, the members of the Order of the Four all reconvened through the dark shadowy astral projection in a dark cave of a hideout, where they all exactly discussed the great demise of the original Lord of Magic at the hands of the child who was meant to be the one to bring him down. Realizing this, the other members exactly agreed that it's time for them to furthering the next step of their plans and the next step of their goals, to which they all precisely agreed. The shadow creature was quietly present during the meeting as he presented himself during his shadowy astral projection, and the other members exactly stated that with Universal Man being the one mentioned within the prophecy, he might be the one who will bring about the true change that Sacred Society has been waiting for. But they exactly told themselves that the furthering of their plans must begin its full anticipation, as the heroes will disrupt whatever planning and whatever progress that they managed to pick up for the last few centuries, as all of them precisely agreed on that, and so did the creature, as it all remained, and some of the other members remained completely silent as well during the entire assembly of the meeting. On the actual precise day of the 19th of April, the shadow creature was able to keep contact of the Shadow Empire warlord as it appeared throughout the surface of the environment in its full camouflage state, realizing that the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders reconvened in a dark hideout, to which it was kind of like a Lost Shadow Empire facility factory that was quietly completely hidden within the forest, within the entire sacred forest. But these forests are not exactly connected to the sacred natural world of the monsters. It completely has a two-way street to the sacred natural world, to which the doorway between the two dimensions are quietly separate, which creates a portal between the other sides. But despite that, they were able to reconvene. And the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders were well aware that there was a gateway between the other side and the other side to the other side, but they decided it's best to keep it a top secret to themselves. Unbeknownst to them, they were being fully watched by an invisible force that they cannot even sense or detect from its true proximity as well, to which they entered within a hideout, and the creature followed and remained literally undetected and invisible due to its camouflaging radius rate within the entire ancient within the environment's true perimeters, as well as these Shadow Empire warlords and commanders beginning to solidify their true plan and their true goal of creating chaos and destruction, now that the mighty universal heroes have returned, and that the great Lord of Magic is dead, and that the new Lord of Magic has returned, and the other new Lord of Magic has quietly returned, realizing that the balance of power is about to switch in both ways. And the other Shadow Empire warlord commander exactly told themselves that they must remain a close proximity eye, because they are more powerful groups and powerful deadly organization of ancient secret societies of supervillains who are willing to seize power by any means necessary. And one of their own people have formed a pact with those groups in order for them to aiding them on their respective missions and on their respective common interests, which will benefit both sides, as the others exactly told themselves that they must join forces, unlike all the others who are fighting amongst themselves to seize power for the Shadow Empire throne. But despite that, they must exactly band together as a group in order to defeat the most powerful witches who are trying to annihilate them and who are also trying to destroy them. Realizing that the creature has quietly been watching and everything else, the Shadow Empire warlord commander exactly decided it's best to take a step further of the planning and to speed up the process of creating chaos and more turmoil. The creature now began to realize that these Shadow Empire warlords, like all the others, just want power and control, to which could prove useful for the organization as well. On the actual 27th of May, the group began to reconvene in a dark cave where the other members represented themselves on the shadowy astral projection, while the others presented themselves on a bright blue light projection of themselves, which can basically conceal every face and every appearance of themselves. Despite that, the creature also presented himself in its shadowy astral projection and told the members that the Shadow Empire warlords are still campaigning against the other ancient groups of the powerful secret societies of the other organizations, while the others are joining forces with the other groups. Despite that, the leader of the organization told the members that this could play to their advantage, that they could tip the balance and the equation to their own sides, while the other members exactly told the leader that they'll be making a big flawed mistake, since the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders have proven themselves to be highly ruthless and highly merciless, and all they care about is control and the old ignorant traditions, which will never get them nowhere. To that point, the leader began to agree with the other newest members and told the other members that it's best for them to maintain the cool proximity and the existence must be kept a secret. And he told the shadow creature to maintain a close watch on the members of Dark Star, realizing that the organization of the Star Empire is now planning a powerful attack and a new powerful attack, especially with the leaders and the members now that they're planning sinister alliances with other powerful villainous groups and organizations. That might prove to be a problem for the future conflicts and for the future calamity that might bring to them. As the creature agreed, then that is exactly what it shall do, and it must remain its true distant capabilities to be undetected and to be untraceable, as the creature began to agree on that as well. On the actual precise day of the 29th of June, of the actual 29th of June, the shadow creature began exactly merging with the grounds of the great sewers in its camouflaging state with the environment, able to listen to the great supernatural monsters and forces of the great groups of the great ancient evil groups of the monsters organization, as the monsters henchmen and creatures began to all exactly reconvene, discussing that the master's plan might work to their advantage as well by forming an alliance with Wolfstar, to which I told you about in a previous episode, who exactly joined forces with the evil monsters leaders and group of the organization together to further their common interests and their common plans as well. Despite that, the other monsters began to agree that the members of Dark Star do possess greater powerful, ultimate influential resources to which could work to their aid, and they also possess an army of uncontrollable monsters to which both sides could exactly need more help to each other. Despite that, and unbeknownst to the creatures, there was a powerful force of evil literally listening to the conversation that was quietly unable to be undetected or sensed by their great supernatural abilities or powers. Despite that, or they also have the great geological advantage as well, but they don't exactly have the advantage that they can in order to detect a powerful creature that it has enhanced senses and enhanced supernatural senses beyond their understanding. Either way, the other monsters began to agree that this could work to their advantage, because it's time to switch the rules of the game in a more higher level, as they all precisely agreed on that as well. And the creature began listening very closely on those plans to which the organization itself could benefit crucially as well. On the actual precise day of the 28th, on the 28th of August, the mighty shadow creature appeared in the actual ground of the great sewers, headquarters, where it fully began walking about them. These sewers are quietly beneath the ancient homeland of the Seven Nation Hunter cities, which is a central homeland of the Seven Nation Hunter cities that are quietly scattered across the entire fringes of the sacred great nations. Despite that, the creature began exactly observing and studying the sewers pattern and the headquarters of these monsters and of their partners and their full powerful collaborators, realizing that these headquarters are used wisely, and they use wisely to operate from the shadows, and are very highly crucial for them to actually working from the shadows itself as well. Realizing that it's time to tell the members of the organization what's really happening behind the scenes, while the heroes are fighting the real enemy and the real threats, while the other forces are beginning to gather up an army that could defeat them in a matter of time and in a matter of months or other years to come as well, to which a calamity is about to be coming sooner or rather later as well. On the precise day of the actual 9th of September, the members of the organization began to reconvene on a different hideout, and a different dark hideout, where it had powerful dark magical creature-like statues of creatures that are quite erased from the entire history of the witch's history, and the entire history of the warlock history, and the entire history of the Seven Nation Hunters, and especially of the origin races and of the Four Nation Hunters as well. To that end, they all reconvene throughout their shadowy astral projection, as the other members who exactly appeared through bright white astral projection were not exactly present, realized that they all had their current missions and assignment to focus on. They all exactly appeared. The newest and the original members appeared as well. The shadow creature exactly told the members that the monsters are planning something very sinister from behind the scenes, while the heroes are fighting up against the ones they're literally paying attention, and with the other superhero communities fighting a war against the open villains who are literally exposing themselves completely, and the other organizations that are literally working from behind the shadows, who are causing a huge conflict from between two sides, are literally creating a huge distracting them from the real threat that's rising from the shadows. The leader exactly told the greatest and most loyal member that he did a very good job relaying them that information because it's time for them to make a new deal with the leaders of these monsters, to which could benefit them very crucially. And maintaining the balance of power needs to work to their advantage because that is their sole purpose and goal, which is the first step and the final phase, always putting the balance of power to be maintained at any other cost as well. To which the creature began to agree, and the other members agreed with that as well. On the actual precise day of the 6th of October, the leader of the organization appeared from the great sewers of the great city, while he told the creature to do exactly what it did back then, maintaining its true presence hidden and must remain within the shadows long enough for him to begin doing the bargaining with the leader of these powerful ancient organization of the monsters. The creature did exactly that, benefiting the leader and also listening to it very well as well. The leader of the monster organization appeared as well from the shadows of the great sewers and exactly met with the leader of the organization of the Order of the Four, who was wearing a powerful purple cloak as well. But the leader of the monsters wasn't wearing any cloak or anything else, appearing to its true nature and appearing to its true appearance as well. The both leaders exactly decided it's best that they actually work together as a team, realizing that the leader of the organization is well known that he formed an alliance with the organization known as the Darkstar, but he told them that this alliance could have more benefit to him as he did with the other organization. The leader of the monsters exactly told him that. How did he find out about that? The leader of the organization of the Order of the Four told him that he has eyes and ears beyond his perception can actually ever see or ever know, which he can never able to understand as well, to which he began to precisely agree with that. Both the leaders exactly spoke to the psychic communicational both the leaders exactly spoke to the psychic and telepathical mind state, realizing that the monster leader cannot speak physical manifestation face, so they decided it's best to speak telepathic in order to know that they cannot be known about what exactly we're saying. Despite that, both of them agree that they do share common interest which could benefit the other. But he told them that his alliance and his allegiance have been placed with the organization of the Darkstar, and Wolfstar has promised to expanding his army and enhancing his people with more given supernatural powers, to which the leader of the organization of the Order of the Four told him that they can do the exact same thing, but they can do it even more extra, and they can take it even more higher than what the members of Darkstar can do. Despite that, the leader still exactly told the leader of the Order of the Four that he's willing to expanding his influence in a more different, darker stage, to which he became highly intrigued by that, as he decided it's best to accept the proposition, as he told him that he'll remain the mysterious colleague for now, as well as they will find a powerful, formidable ally in the meantime, but he'll remain the mysterious, most loyal partner and colleague and friend as well for the many years to come, realizing that there's a huge war coming that is unannounced to the universal heroes and to their allies that could actually benefit them both. They agreed that it's time for them to put their differences aside and work together, to which they formed the new alliance with the Order of the Four, knowing that the organization maintains the balance of power, to which could benefit them as well, more crucially than ever possible as well. On the actual day of the 11th of November, the monsters of the sacred natural world began a huge incursion by trying to destroy the very powerful barrier that literally conceals the inner cities, that literally conceals the entire inner cities from them from breaking out, that literally conceals the residents and from them from breaking out from the entire sacred natural world country, and stopping them from literally escaping that entire imprisonment. Through that entire breaking out of that incursion, the 7 Nation Hunters and the 4 Nation Hunters and the members of the United Heroes were forced to intervene, taking steps to which they fought up against the creatures, the monsters that were trying to completely break in. As Eagle Man, who used his detective skills, were able to realize that these creatures don't just act up without any other reason. They were quietly sent by the powerful masters and leaders in order for them to literally break through the barrier. As he told the members of the United Heroes, that it would be unwise for them to create a conflict and is unnecessary. It's best excuse me, it's actually best for them to actually withdraw from the battle, which is not exactly successfully necessary for them to do so. Unbeknownst to them, the shadow creature was watching from the shadows as he realized that the members of the United Heroes are powerful and they're highly mysteriously intelligent than he actually perceived them to be as well. To that end, he decided it's best to maintaining the battle and watching it very closely, whether an Eagle Man will pose a threat, and all the other members of the United Heroes will also pose a threat as well. Unbeknownst to the creature, one member of the United Heroes was able to detect his presence through a powerful unknown ancient dark magical feeling, realizing that the sinister benevolent force hiding within the entire environment, which she couldn't tell or detect it from afar, distant, but it was quite the close proximity as well. As he told the other members of the United Heroes that must withdraw from the attack and they must exactly allow the monsters to break through the barrier for them to rule over the entire sacred natural world, but they will not be able to enter the physical world or the entire physical sacred society or the entire physical sacred society of the sacred great nations, to which they all precisely agree. They told the great hunters to continue the battle long enough for the barrier to break, but the entire shielding and the entire magical projectable shield remains strong and tight as it is as well. On the actual 9th of December, the members of the organization began to fully reconvene in a dark shadowy astral projection on a dark cave, to where the shadow creature began telling the members that the tactic paid off well, and the leader exactly told the creature he did exactly as he was meant to be told, to which it literally played both to their cards, and the leader of the monsters organization told the leader himself that he was pleased with the effort of his people trying to study the threat very well closely. Now that they managed to gain a full advantage, he told the creature to begin using its abilities to enhancing the creatures of the creatures of the creatures of the darkness, the creatures of darkness, and the creatures of the creatures of darkness and the creatures of death as well, giving them the more power they need for the army to grow when the time is ready. As the creature began to agree, on the actual 6th of January, the creature went into its hideout, where it began completely enhancing and also enhancing its creatures, also enhancing its fellow brethren and creatures and monsters, as the Iron Maskman completely revealed himself through the camouflage state of the entire hideout, of the entire underground base hideout, and exactly told him that he was able to absorb and extract as much power as he needed so he can also get strong and more powerful on his own. And he told the creature that he did well on his top secret mission and task, to which he was very quietly pleased of. And the shadow creature told him that they do have a new ally who's willing to listen to them, as the creature seemed, as the Iron Maskman seemed very highly convinced who might be the new mysterious ally. On the actual 17th of February, the shadow creature and the Iron Maskman met with the new mysterious ally known as Ghostmaster, who is, after all, the former enforcer of the founders and still the associate of the Shadow Empire warlords. Ghostmaster exactly told the two powerful elite members that he's willing to offer his services to them whenever they exactly need it as well. Realizing that Ghostmaster was, after all, a former enforcer of the founders, he may have great knowledge and great expertise on how this group works and how they operate. The Iron Maskman exactly told him that from now on out, he will relay special information to him and to the creature, and the creature will pass it on out to the other members. When the time is right, they'll begin taking their rightful place. On the 19th of March, the shadow creature revealed itself to the central headquarters of the members of the Order of the Four, as all the other members of the organization were sitting on their seats on the very entire magical city village that they conquered and ruled with an iron fist, as they all began telling themselves that it's time for them to making sure that all their plan and all their works will begin paying off one way or the other. And so did the Iron Maskman, as well as the original members, to which the other members exactly stated that they cannot jeopardize everything they've worked hard for because it cannot come to risk. Realizing that Universal Man's power is needed for the monster statue to fully absorbing and extracting it, so that one of the other members' organization might become the host of this creature for them to transform to becoming godlike creatures, it might be very crucial for them to stop in that process before it fully takes place, because the balance of power will be shifted to its darkest and most different, devastating outcome. And the Iron Maskman exactly told the leaders and the other masterminds of the organization that they didn't come this far to give up, not when the death of the original Nova Magic has cost them so much, but in the end he was meant to die, because even if he was partly going to still be alive, he would have still foiled their plans, as they all agreed that he was a master and a teacher to most of the other members, and they still appreciated him by revealing his true nature, and that in doing so, they were able to gain greater inception of knowledge and of how to study the threats personally. As the other member began to agree that they cannot waste any time, that it's time for them to gather their forces and begin the full incursion that's meant to be. But the Iron Maskman exactly told them when the time is right, they will begin making a move. He told the shadow creature who was quietly on the ground, who was quietly half emerging on the ground, to be their eyes and ears while they operate in the shadows, fulfilling their true duties and their goals as well. And the creature happily obliged in that as well. Despite this, guys, the shadow creature is a very powerful, benevolent, ancient force that has lived throughout the entire sacred universe for decades and for many, many centuries. Good with the power of merging with environments, with the power of fully traveling underground, and with the power of camouflage, with the invisibility power of all of camouflage, super intelligence, super power of manipulation, and the power of great deception, and the power of great infusing itself with the natural energy, with the natural energy and natural resources of elemental powers as well. Very good and very well studied, very great with knowledge and very great in power. Its true deception and loyalty and obedience lies with the members of the Order of the Four and lies with the most powerful shadowy masterminds of the organization, who are the original members, who are also still playing from behind the scenes as well. He's very loyal to the organization and he feels very welcome to the organization, realizing that his talents and services will be well served up to the organization. He believes in the organization's goals of literally maintaining the cosmic balance of power, making sure that the creatures and the monsters of all existence have the power they need for them to begin their sole dominance and control, and making sure that the members of the Order of the Four begin their sole purpose and mission of them beginning to disable the other criminal organizations' plans and goals in the process, and for them to becoming mortal godlike beings and to rule and conquer the entire sacred universe and the rest of the sacred countries and the rest of the sacred countries of the sacred world and of the rest of sacred society. The step that they needed to do is implementing monsters, beings, creatures, powerful lords, powerful warlock lords, and powerful warlock lords, and powerful warlord lords, as well as their pawns and as their most powerful pawns as well. Despite this, the shadow creature is very highly intelligent, good with the power of supernatural, good with the power of sensory, and also of great detection. He's very good in summoning, resurrection, resuscitation, and very good with the power of manipulating wood-like abilities and with the power of nature-like abilities. He's also loyal to its allies. He's also loyal to its allies of the organization, such as the monster enforcers of the organization of the monster group leader, to which they all exactly maintain a powerful distant partnership and a very close relationship as well, understanding their true personalities. It is thanks to the shadow creature that the fire hunters have been known, have been remembered, and been remembered, and not meant to be underestimated, not meant to be taken lightly, due to the destructive ability of natural fire abilities and powers, that they became the most powerful omega fire hunters throughout the entire fire history, throughout the entire fire hunter history, that they made themselves the most baddest and the most official, greatest, deadliest hunters ever were. Unbeknownst to the shadow creature, he knew that one of the fire hunters summoned him from his dark domain and brought him to the physical sacred society domain. For what purpose and for what reason? That he's still exactly looking for. He's still very quietly good in maintaining his individual bases of operation, such as his greater hideouts, as he has ancient caves and ancient mountain headquarters that have skeleton of dead, unusual vampire creatures and monsters and beings, and ancient texts of how druids, witches give life to creatures and monsters and all of that. And within those caves, there are powerful body parts of statue-like body parts and artificial body parts of creatures, and a huge unknown army of powerful dead, a huge unknown army of powerful dreaded monsters, which are beneath the ground, to which he kept on enhancing them, and he kept on literally giving them more powers and more abilities to increase their physical abilities and their spiritual energy, and powers them more higher perception rate. Despite this, the creatures were good with the power of fire ability, water, earth, mist, being undetected, being untraceable, very good with the power of spiritual energy and the power of able to combining nanotechnology and infusion energy all together. He's very good at studying shadow energy and as well knowing sacred history very well. Highly dangerous creature and dangerous foe. He knows very well to study the enemies of the organization of the Order of the Four and not to underestimating them as well. He does have a close personal relationship with Warlord Star and with Wolf Star and with the Monster Leader and with Ghostmaster and with the high-ranking officials of the members of the Order of the Five, such as Master Shadow and the Goddess and the Great Goddess, who is a high-ranking official of the Order of the Five as well. Despite that, it is loyal to its associate, loyal to its allies, loyal to its members, very deceptive, very manipulating different individuals who are powerful individuals, such as powerful enemies, powerful anti-heroes, powerful Secretive Council members of the Sacred Great Nation, powerful allies of the Universal Heroes, the Greater Seven Nation Hunters, the Fire Hunters, Water Hunters, Ice Hunters, all and different, each one of them. The Shadow Empire warlords, commanders, operatives, the assassins of each different organization, which he manipulates as well, so that the Order of the Four's goals and mission can begin taking its rightful position, so that they are ready to become mortal godlike beings. Despite this, it has greater high sufficiency and greater high sufficiency and the greater power of greater infinite knowledge beyond any creature has ever lived throughout sacred history. It knows who has been erased, and it knows all the creatures and monsters that have been eradicated, and it's doing its utmost best to try to study their abilities and their power. It has the great power of interdimensional ability to travel between other dimensions that quietly have their own sacred dark countries, worlds, and civilizations, and all of that. And he knows very well the powers of how fairies and witches magic works well, to which he forms an alliance with the dark druids and with the dark evil fairies and with the dark evil hunters and with the dark evil warlocks, in order for them to gain its understanding and its true proximity as well, and its true expertise, to which they all utilize. It's very good with historical books, magical archive books, and its different history, locations of how magical sources of powers and all of that can be utilized to its own use. Good with the power of recording every detailed record of sacred history, event, wars, battles, studying it in a very close eye, in the thoughts, minds of every creature, being, monster, like anti-hero, villain, powerful enemies, members of the Universal Heroes, how they think, how they operate. Very good at the power of summoning, casting, the power of shadow creation, light creation, darkness creation, power creation, and the power of deception creation, and with the power of summoning creation at will. Creatures, monsters, animals, to which he uses to protecting him, and also to guarding itself as well. The creature is very, very, very benevolent, very powerful, marble force, ancient, can see literal anything from a far distance, sensory perception. He can even see energy of all creatures from a far distance, to which he can relay the information to its allies and to its members of the organization. Loyal to the core to the organization, believes the organization's ideology and philosophy to its heart and to its true mission. Still remains close proximity friends with the members of the Fire Hunters, to which he has already befriended them, and also gives them the seat to join forces with the members of the Order of the Four, to which he already has done that. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I'll see you tomorrow on Thursday. Take care of yourself and also love yourself and stay safe and remain undetected, and do everything else you can with your true heart, and also stay happy and stay blessed. I'll see you tomorrow on Thursday. Let me upload this episode. Please tell as much of your family and friends to like and subscribe in Billy Yours channel in YouTube and in TikTok. I would completely love that as well. But as I said before, guys, your support and you guys watching me is completely all that matters, and it still will always matter to me. Very grateful for that, because when the day comes, we'll see this completely bearing fruit. Either way, take care and stay strong. Today's episode was the shadow creature, who is the member of the Order of the Four. Now that you managed to get a full scope of that, stay safe and stay happy and stay positive and stay strong. Love you and appreciate you. Sorry for the time change, to which there was an unknown event that occurred, the unknown event that literally occurred up, and that forced me to change time and pyramid and everything else. But either way, take care of yourself and stay safe. See you tomorrow, and love you and appreciate your support. Like and subscribe, and take care of yourself. Bye.